guys? Black Scout Survival, Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm going to start off tonight with something very tragic. And so I had to clip the part when you'll notice when. And also there's some language in this, but I'm going to play this clip and then we're going to discuss it real quick. So let me paint the scene real quick. These carjackers stole a car and they're now filming themselves, posting on social media as they fly down the highway.
Bitch ass nigga! Stop talking shit, bitch! Stop talking shit! Nigga! Fuck wrong with blood. Ready? Yeah. Hit his ass.
So they see this older gentleman riding on the bike and they hit him. Okay. He winds up dying. And this is what the media reported. Retired police chief killed in bike crash. Remember, for laugh, love, and coffee. These freaking scumbags are trying to frame this as a bike crash. If the roles were reversed, this would be around the news coverage. There would be protests all across America, burning small businesses, you name it. But yeah, that's the media for you. And I freaking hate the media. I question everything literally that I've been told my whole life, and you should too. Like, I mean, everything you've learned about American history, everything you've ever been told, you should question it, because this is the thing. Before social media, you had to believe whatever was on the news or in the newspapers. And from what I understand, and you know, this could be BS, but from what I understand, most news anchors were, you know, in the famous ones at that they would go into hostile areas, interview dangerous men. Most of these news anchors were intelligence assets. And if you notice, those since social media, especially in the past few years, our lives have drastically changed. We see more and more truth coming out. And when more and more truth comes out, what you see is more and more fact checkers. You also see shadow banning and suppression and this and that. If this is America, free speech, it shouldn't be a problem. But you know why? It's because they want to feed you lies and they don't want the truth coming out, right? It makes you wonder, though, about this right here. Who gave the green light to start torching Joe Biden? That's what I want to know. Media is now teaming up to finally criticize Biden after he's basically destroyed America in the past 3 years. To me, this seems like a desperate attempt to replace him in the 2024 Democrat nominee. New York Times, 2024 Field of Nightmares. Washington Post, opinion, President Biden should not run again in 2024. So to me, this looks like they're turning table on him, and someone obviously had to give the freaking green light for that, right? And I told you my theory is Michelle or Michael. But the other thing is I saw today that Gavin Newsom met with one of the Soros guys. So who knows? And we know Soros funds a lot of these things. So he's potentially getting thrown in the pot as well. So anyway, let's get to the main story tonight. China just last week, I don't know if you saw, unveiled plans to construct a high-speed railway straight into Taiwan, right? Without anybody asking anybody, they said they're just going to do it. So Taiwan comes back and they immediately dismiss this proposal. They say that they, condemn this. This is a politicized strategy to lure Taiwanese individuals and firms into comply with mainland China's leadership and policies. So now, since Taiwan's public denial, in the past 24 hours, China has sent 103 warplanes, and that's just what I have now. I mean, it could be more by now, toward Taiwan, making a surge in military activity. Okay, and I'll throw it up here, the map here. 40 warplanes cross into the symbolic line between China and the island. including 30 fighter jets. The defense ministry called on China to bear responsibility immediately and stop such kind of destructive military activities. And you can see the air defense identification zones, or the ADIZs, right here. But they've been flying all in it. And then we have our State Department that comes back and says, "Oh, China, just you need to be diplomatic. Cease the military stuff, the economic pressure on Taiwan. Instead, engage in meaningful dialogue." The State House then added that Beijing's continued provocative actions in the Taiwan Strait are indicative of its unilateral agreement. They don't care. I mean, I think it's pretty evident. They're cutting off our warships. They're flying in front of our planes. They're flying into their airspace. I mean, record number. They don't freaking care, right? Oh, I saw one of our trimmers said his ship date is June 10th. Army base. Good luck, man. You'll probably be fighting in mainland China. You'll most likely. Anyway, so apparently, we know this. I actually talked about this like maybe 2 years ago. China routinely sends warplanes towards Taiwan, but this volume of aircraft is like unprecedented. It's unusual. Okay. And so, in addition, and I talked about this a few days ago, China's also upped the amount of naval exercises around Taiwan. Like they're circling, like ships are circling Taiwan. 9 naval assets at that, spotted near the island, and one being a aircraft carrier. So the U.S., they come out and said basically, "Oh, we don't think they're going to invade until 2027. I don't buy it. I think this is them projecting what they at least hope to push it off until then. To me, it's now or never. America is completely weak. They have no idea. And I'm talking about the State Department. They have no idea what's going to come after. I'm sorry, I'm talking about China. China has no idea what's going to happen with America after this next election, right? It would be dumb for China to wait, in my opinion, because if they wait, we get a strong individual back in office. They change course, build back up our military, stop funding proxy wars. They'll be in a position that we could dominate. Especially right now, that this would be the best time to take, especially because we've sent almost all of our munitions to Ukraine. We sent them all. Literally, it's apparently we won't be caught up with our pre-Ukraine war stockpile for 3 years. So they're hoping, yeah, man, hopefully they'll wait to 2027, because that way we've got our stockpiles back. Because if you do it now, China, wait to 2027, we're good on that. That's what I think. That's what I'm saying. I think they're trying to project that. Yeah, wait 3 years. But the thing is it'll take us 3 years. But that's if we just run production, not continue to supply Ukraine. We continue to supply Ukraine. It's going to take longer than that. Strategically, this would be the best time, in my opinion, from a tactical standpoint. I actually have been looking into what the Marine Corps is doing. And so the Marine Corps is basically the only branch that's taking this serious, and they're doing a complete restructuring. A lot of people don't like it. And who knows to even say it's going to be effective, but they've at least are trying to do something. The problem is that people say, you have people saying that the logistical aspect of a war on that side of the globe will be very difficult, because basically it'll be encased by China, its allies, North Korea. So they believe that it'll obviously be a world war, so multiple people fighting. And so it would be very difficult for America to have good logistical support, because you're not fighting the Taliban or Al Qaeda. You're going to be fighting a conventional military who has planes, who has missiles that will shoot stuff down. Okay. So trying to even get to that area without being destroyed. The Marine Corps is saying they're trying to up their jets. I mean, they just lost one. Apparently it crashed. Earlier reports today, matter of fact, said it landed in Cuba. but now they're saying it crashed in northern part of my state. But we have they're trying to up the aircraft because they believe a lot of them will get destroyed. Obviously, I'm sure they've got anti-drone technology. This is, I mean, modern world. They're the king of drones. So again, the Marine Corps, why you may ask, why would they spearhead this? They would spearhead this because the Marine Corps is the expeditionary force. Okay, that's what they're designed to do. They're able to sustain themselves, right, in a forward deployed manner. So you may say, well, what about special operations? What about Navy SEALs? When you're fighting in conventional warfare, you use less special operations. The reason why the global war on terrorism used so much special operations, and in my opinion, they lowered the standard to allow more people in because they need them in, which led to a lot more deaths in the special operations community. But they did that because that was unconventional warfare. You're fighting guys in flip flops, right? So guys with AKs and making IEDs and stuff. You're not fighting conventional military force. To fight a conventional military force, you're going to fight conventional warfare. And so, again, it'll be led by probably the Marine Corps would do the bulk of that because they're set up for that. And especially they know that, hence why they're completely restructuring. The Marine Corps would not be doing this if they did not believe this was something that was actually going to happen. So a lot of people can say, whatever, this is never going to happen. It is going to happen. China's in a economic down spiral, right? And whenever that happens, usually the only way to get out is to go to war. So that way you push your resources into this, right? You cut everything off, especially them being a communist country. It would be maybe the only way out. Maybe they're trying other strategies, but this could potentially be the only way out for them. The other thing is we've talked about this, and I know a lot of you guys think the same thing, that we're already in a war with them, right? And I showed you a few weeks ago how they're thinking that they're talking about viruses, software viruses, hackers and things like that, malware, as well as biological viruses. They've already done that. They put malware on lots of our military equipment as well as our civilian infrastructure. Then we have the freaking biolabs is popping up all over the country of theirs. So, and the media is totally trying to cover this up. The only reason why it was reported is because local reports from local news agencies. If that had not, it would never have made it. And I don't even think it made it mainstream. And I think it did make it on CBS, but they never said once in the article. If you don't remember, you can go back and check that video out. I showed you. They never said nowhere in the article with CBS that it was a China lab. So obviously, our media is trying to pretend like nothing's happened. So a lot of civilians will put their head in the sand and pretend like nothing's happened. The United States Marine Corps is not going to completely restructure their entire fighting force if they don't believe this is imminent. We had General Milley, if you don't recall, I talked about this. I showed him saying it to Congress that he doesn't believe that we can fight two major players at one time. Speaking of Russia and China, hence why we're probably funneling through the proxy war, keep them tied up there, so that way when China strikes Taiwan. The other thing is that China's already saying, because our presence, our increased military presence there, this was just reported a few days ago, that they are taking that we are doing an offensive move. And by that, they're going to put on the world stage that, oh, we're being offensive, so they need to be defensive. So it's just a matter of time, and they have modern military weapons, missiles, nukes. So this will be, when this comes, this will be a war unlike anything you've ever seen in the history of the world. Okay, this is not going to be World War II. This ain't going to be World War I. This is going to be something like you've never seen before. And I mean, like your life will never be the same here on this soil again. And that is even if we win, it'll never be the same. So they're aware, China's aware, just like you are, just like everybody else. They have social media. They gather intel with their social media, TikTok. But they're aware that our military is weakened. They are aware that our recruitment efforts suck. We can't get people to join. We can't even get them to pass the physical fitness test to get in. We can't even get people that aren't overweight, right? Because everybody's overweight now. due to the food processing manufacturing, freaking seed oils, plastics, and all that. And that's a whole nother video. But the military, since 2020, under Biden, has been focused on gender, social justice, and other virtue signaling issues, right? Nonsense. Instead of war fighting. That's what the military should be doing. How many freaking videos a week do I show either some trans in uniform, talking about nail polish, lipstick? That's what the focus is. And they're promoting that type of individualism. The military, down to its most basic of layer, is team. I mean, any old Saudi dogs can chime in here. It's team, right? And when you're talking about fighting someone like China, you're going to be fighting conventional warfare. You're going to be fighting troops on the ground. Of course, there will be lots of, aerial combat, missiles, and things like that. Most likely attacks on the U.S., probably from the commandos they sent across the border or the covert operatives they sent. They've got suitcase EMPs. We talked about that a few days ago. They start destroying infrastructure here. They got viruses here, malware. They've got biolabs. So they'll unleash onto the populace. Logistically, it's going to be a struggle to even survive in combat over there. So who's to say we even win this war, right? And under Biden admin, we could, let's say that we get into combat with them and then we have to make some kind of ultimate compromise because Biden has taken $30 million from them. It's just a bad situation. And I'm relaying this information as an American to another American. This isn't good at all. The thing is, with this increased presence, could it be posturing? It could. But to me, I think we're just delaying the inevitable. Yep. Dr. Strinker here said President Biden let China map our country in lasers and weather balloons. China's gearing up. Absolutely. They've been gearing up for a few years. This would have never happened under Trump, 100%. This wouldn't have happened under Obama, right? Joe Biden installed, maybe for this very reason. And what are they going for now? They're trying to disarm Americans. Because like in World War II, whenever Japan talked about the general said, hey, can we invade mainland America? No, because there'll be a rifle behind every blade of grass, right? You have the biggest military here. And if you ever look at, you can go search this on the web, but if you ever looked at the play that they do of where they do war gaming and scientists and they put in the algorithms and all sort of stuff, America's one of the biggest reasons why it's undefeatable is because of the citizens. You have, millions of armed Americans, and you have a lifeblood that is transcended from founding fathers where Americans are willing to fight for their country. Okay. You think the Chinese, they're treated like freaking slaves over there or wanting to go fight for their country? No. But Americans who value freedom, who know about our history and upholding what we believe here. I'm sure I'm looking at the camera right now, you'd be willing to go die for this country. You may have never served in the military, you don't have to, but you'd be willing to die for this country or fight and kill the bad, make the other guy die for his country. That's what we say in the Marines. Make the other guy, you don't die for yours, you make the other guy die for his. But anyway, I wanted to share this. Obviously, it's getting more serious. Is it going to be next week? Who knows? Is it going to be tomorrow? Who knows? Could be. We don't know. But freak show me. Recruiter tells you better. Make sure the recruiter does tell you everything in writing. That's right. Fox, thanks. Mindset, performance, stack, ammo, water, and food. Absolutely. Beans, bullets, and band-aids, man. The U.S. is stuck in the World War II style warfare while war is now being fought in heavy reconnaissance from drones and satellites. Yeah, it's true. We're too worried about social justice issues. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Yeah, what makes the grass grow? The Marines can tell us that. Any Marines out there, tell us what the grass grows, how you make the grass grow. Leave it in the comments. Anyhow, guys, before I jump off, I want to let you know I promise you, people are reaching out. They're so mad they missed hats the other day. We got dad hats, multicam black in stock. adjustable fit. So they're in stock. They'll be on the website in a few minutes. I got to put them on there. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts about this. I really think things are getting serious. And I think no matter how you slice this one, it's going to be bad. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, stay dangerous.